Hi, I'm Vicky of Bondatrix. On Bondatrix.com I make and sell lots of great BDSM gear, all made in the UK. And today I'm going to talk about the difference between a leather wrist cuff versus bondage mitts. So anything that ties up around the wrist is great with a submissive for keeping them in place, for being some kind of mental reminder, for making everyday chores more difficult to perform, for reminding them basically that they're the submissive and you're the dominant. So with a wrist cuff, you've got something nice and secure, made of leather around the wrist. And if it's well made, it will be a good secure tie point. Have a think when you're looking for them about what type of buckle as well. So these ones have got a padlockable buckle on them, so you do it up like a normal buckle, but then you can put a padlock through and lock them in so they can't take them off themselves. So with a pair of these on, you can clip them together, you can clip them to a collar, you can clip them behind their back, you can clip them to a piece of furniture, and you've got quite a lot of bondage options there. But as you will see, they still have the full use of their hands. So that means that these can be a great option if you want a maid to then carry on hoovering and have it restricted in how much movement they've got and make it more difficult for them to hold things and to do things. If you want somebody to be able to make and serve you drinks, then something like this is a great option. But if you're just playing with bondage for bondage's sake, then bonded mitt that takes away the use of the hands mentally provides a much more intense experience for the submissive, and it makes them a lot more helpless and dependent on the dominant. So with a bondage mitt, it's the same idea, that you've got your restraint point and your buckle point. You're then putting your hand inside something that takes away the use of the hand. So these ones that I make at Bondatrix are all padded and lined inside, so that makes them nice and comfortable, and it means with the padding I've got enough space there I can wiggle my fingers about, so I'm not going to get cramp from them being pushed into one very hard position. It's a reasonably soft leather, so again, I've got that bit of give, that little bit of movement in there, so I'm not going to get pins and needles or find it too uncomfortable to be in for a long time. But I can't pick things up, I can't touch things, I can't do things for myself. I'd struggle now to go to the bathroom and be able to go to the toilet. I couldn't easily pick up a drink and start making myself a drink by the time you've got one on each hand. It makes you, as the submissive, a lot more helpless, a lot more dependent on the dominant, especially once they use the lockable buckle to padlock you in there and then clip these up to a collar or behind your back. Then suddenly you're helpless. You are at the whim and mercy of your dominant, and that provides a very powerful headspace very quickly and easily for the submissive from just something on either hand. So that's an interesting one to think about if you're a fan of bondage and dominance and submission, and you want to very quickly and easily be able to put a submissive into that headspace. So these are available at Bondatrix.com. I make them in the UK. I, as standard, make them in a smaller size, which is good if you've got little hands and little wrists, and a larger size for big chunky hands and wrists. But because I make them myself, I can also do them made to measure. So if you want to send in specific measurements of your hand when it's in this kind of shape and around your wrist, then you can get something that's made to measure to make sure it will fit you as well. Have a look at the rest of my YouTube videos. I have a whole channel at Bondatrix, and I have the website bondatrix.com, where I have a huge range of BDSM gear, lots of it made in the UK, lots of unusual and different designs designed by an actual BDSM player who's been playing for 20 years and making things for 20 years and coming up with all kinds of ideas to all kinds of solutions and interesting bits and different ideas that I come up with during play. Thank you for watching today.